Do you know what I mean? And if a man is going to turn around and tell me, yeah, that disaster class, yeah, from Garnacho, you know, the mad thing is, when he plays well, everyone's hyping him. When he plays rubbish, oh, yeah, it's his age and that. No. We don't do that round here. We don't do that round here, bro. He's not good enough, point blank, period, bro. Because even when he scores goals, man can't play well for the whole game. And it's not just him. It's not just him.
It's glimpses, isn't it? You see glimpses of what he can do, but most of the time, the stuff that he does do, you're almost guaranteed that he's never going to do it again, like the overhead kick and a lot of the goals that he scores. So the proof of that actually is, what game was it where he tried it again? People in the chat will know there was a game where he tried it again.
Yeah, he went out for a throw-in. I remember.
Yeah, there was a game where he tried it again.
But this is what I mean. And the man will say, oh, you don't know how many times he practiced it. You can't practice those.
You can't practice that. Unless you
unless
you literally want to break your back, yeah? All right, cool. No worries.
You can't practice those because one, it's not safe, yeah? And two,
it's not.
You can't replicate the delivery. Like, it's almost impossible to replicate the delivery to those things. So it's just one of them ones. I look at the situation. He's not good enough, Aaron. Like, we've seen Mason Greenwood, for example, yeah, and Kobe Mino. When you look at the consistent quality that these players show, yeah, he doesn't show that. When you look at Kobe Mino, yeah, he's 18 years old. Do you see a certain level of consistency in his all-round game, the way he receives the ball, the way he plays the ball, his composure on the ball? He shows enough of a consistency, yeah, that you can watch him only one or two times and say, that's who he is as a footballer. That's who he is. That's the kind of player he is. There's no inconsistencies with Kobe already. He looks like a seasoned player because he's got all of his fundamentals in place. No one's making excuses for him.
And the thing is, even yesterday, when he came on, bro, what was it? I can't remember how many minutes there were to go, but when he came on, you saw the difference. I think there was a phase where he had the ball, yeah. I think Kimmich came towards him, tried to take the ball off him. I think, what did he do? I think he sent man and then done a long ball to Dallo, I think. He came on, you saw the difference straight away. And even after the game, yeah, I was walking around Old Trafford, just overhearing some of the German fans talk, and some of them were mentioning Kobe Mainoo. So I stopped and I was like, bro, what do you think of Kobe Mainoo? He was like, listen, a lot of your players, more than 70% of your players are trash, but that kid that came on towards the end, he's the truth. And I was like, oh, all right, cool, thank you. So even they can recognize that, you know what I mean? Yeah. They don't watch Man United.
Yeah, 100%. So when you look at ability of a player, yeah, it's what they can do, what they can keep repeating. And that's why when you compare Martial and Rashford, it's the same. Martial's got way more skills that are repeatable. Rashford is an off-the-cuff player, sometimes hot, sometimes cold. Do you know what I mean? So when you're comparing abilities of players, if you understand the game of football, you can look and see who's got what. You can see who's got what. And this guy doesn't have any skills that he can repeat consistently. Because football is about what you can keep doing, bruv. Like, no one cares what you can do in a one-off. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no one cares about that. It's what you can keep doing. That's how you keep your place in the team. And this is why I said to Saeed, there'll never be a point, at which he can hold down that left wing position, because he doesn't have any actionable skills that he can repeat again and again and again. He's not good at getting past players. He's not good at bringing players into the game. He's not good at scoring goals even when you look at it. There's nothing that he does well enough that's repeatable, that's going to keep players with more talent than him out of the team.
And you know what's crazy about what you just said about something that you can rely on, that you can repeat time and time again, because you know it's going to work. And people in the chat are mentioning, because we're talking about Garnacho, people in the chat are mentioning Musiala. First of all, can I just say, because I was at the stadium yesterday, what a joy to watch this kid.
And that wasn't him at his best either.
It wasn't. That was the crazy thing, bro. But the thing he done, the things he did in the game yesterday, always he was doing the same thing over and over again. But because that guy has practiced that shit to the core, it works every time. Dropping deep, receiving the ball, turning, spinning man off, boom, gone. Driving, and then finding the pass. And he was finding the pass every single time. Amrabat tried to get at him, couldn't defend against him, to the point where he had to make a foul, picked up a yellow card. Bruno couldn't get nowhere near him. McTominay, forget about it. Like, what's his name? Musiala was just levels above. And I see people in the chat saying he's only 1 year older than Garnacho. Bro, to see the difference in levels of Garnacho and then you see Musiala, tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, Musiala's a proper footballer, and this is what I say, guys. Like, there's the difference between athletes that can play football and footballers. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference. Like, he is a footballer, bro. Like, when you watch him play, nothing about his game, you can't coach that. There's nothing about his game that you can coach. All you can do with a player like that is refine their game and find a system that best enhances their abilities. You cannot coach a Musiala. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, he's not gonna get the hype that Jude gets because he's not scoring the goals.
Yes.
He's not scoring the goals, but bro, like if you literally, both of them man are playing in a football match, like, and they're just in amongst nobodies and you don't know them and you watch them both play. If you ask them who's the better footballer, unanimous, it's him. It's him. He's the one that everyone's going to be standing up saying, "Who's that kid? Who's that kid?"
Yep.
It's him.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be the one scoring goals. And this is the thing, and this is the problem with stats now, because stats now are superseding the eye test. So now automatically when you start putting up numbers, what happens is people start to overlook absolutely everything else that you bring to the table. And like someone said something about, like, for instance, when we was watching Wayne Rooney before, like, he was everywhere. We knew Rooney was him, not just because Rooney was scoring goals or whatnot, but because Rooney was everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
He was everywhere.
And that's the thing, because there's certain things, it's a good point that you're making. There's certain things in a game of football that you just can't quantify, and stats won't tell you. For example, let's take the game yesterday. The way Musiala was dropping deep, spinning off man, shimmying, driving for like yards and yards and yards. You can't quantify these kind of things. These things can't be put into stats. So when I tweeted today, when I quote tweeted that there was a compilation of Musiala's performance yesterday, and I said that's a proper midfielder, and then someone came in my comments and said, "Oh, but look at Bruno's heat map." This is exactly what we're talking about. You can't quantify what Musiala done yesterday. You can't quantify that into. You can't put it into stats. It's impossible. You just have to look with your eyes.
The only way is to watch him and also ask the people that played with him
against him,
what it was like.
With him. Yeah,
played against him, what it was like to play against him. Can't get nowhere near him, mate. And that's why you saw on 5, John Obi Mikel was speaking about the difference between Messi and Ronaldo, and he said, when we played against CR7, we knew that Ashley Cole had him.
Yeah,
you know, like that. When we played against Messi, nobody got near enough to him to do anything because he's popping that ball off, boom, and then it's gone. He's getting it back. It was like he was unplayable. And when you see someone like Musiala, when he's in the mood, there's nothing you can do about it, bruv. Like, there's nothing, because he's got so much ability that even when it's not going for him, he can still sit you down and put one in the top corner. He can still do it.
Yeah,
he can still do it.
You know what? There's another player that people said this about a lot, and I was actually surprised people said that, because not surprised, but people, especially me, I tend to forget sometimes. Moussa Dembele, bro.
An unbelievable player.
Every ex-player that you ask that played with him will tell you he's the best player they played with, and they will say the same thing. Couldn't get nowhere near him. Yeah. And when I think back, I'm like, they're actually right, because, bro, do you know how hard it was to get the ball off this guy, bro?
And that was a competitive Premier League he was playing at as well.
Bro, proper competitive, you know, not the Premier League that we know today. Because if he was playing in this Premier League, he'd be levels above everyone.
Bro, and the way he would just put his body between the man and the ball, drop the shoulder, roll, go the other way, and it's like, he's not even doing it at mad pace either. Like, he's doing it at just above walking pace, and you cannot get the ball, bro. Like, you just cannot get it. Do you know what I mean? And it's one of them ones where he was all left foot, and it's like, it didn't matter. You couldn't get it from him. So,
and he was one of those players.
Well. Yeah, but he never had mad stats. He didn't get goals and assists, but the guy was an integral part in everything that Tottenham were doing at the time, and they missed him. They didn't replace him. So it's one of them ones where football is one of them ones where it's a combination of the era that we're in, the social media era, where players their brand becomes bigger than what they've done in the game.
Yes.
And that's not just Garnacho. That's also Rashford. Rashford got that number 10 way too early. It's a lot of players now. Like, they're getting hype. Like, bro, remember the Callum Hudson-Odoi hype, bro? Like, man, remember 1v1 demon and that. And then look where that ended up. So it's one of them ones where it's a social media thing. It's also a numbers thing. And to be fair, Garnacho's numbers are not crazy. But it's just gas, bro. And then on top of it, it's the tribalism where a lot of Ronaldo's fanboys have just adopted him as their own.
But I think it's the entourage as well, it's the people around you. Because with the Hudson-Odoi thing, I remember watching, I can't remember what platform it was on. Maybe people in the comments will remember. I remember watching an interview. I think it must have been during lockdown or just after lockdown. His brother did an interview with some guy on a podcast, and he was the way he was.
Whose brother did?
Hudson-Odoi.
Okay.
He done an interview and he was talking about Callum, and the way he was hyping him up and saying, "Oh wait, yeah, big things are coming. Yeah, no need to talk much." Like that kind of direction. And I look at him today. He can't even get in the starting lineup for Nottingham Forest, bro. He can't even get a game above Elanga. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not the biggest fan of Elanga, but one thing the kid has is application and consistency in the way he plays. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's the gas, it's social media, it's the people around you. When you don't have people around you that can bring you back down to earth and be like, yo, big man, relax. Do you know what I mean? You that's how you'll end up. Do you know what I mean? And that's why people like Jude, maybe he doesn't have all the ability in the world, but in terms of people around him, his parents, oh, bro, they'll
he's got the right people around him that I can be 100% sure, that even when he goes through a dry spell, which he will, it won't faze him, because he's not, as much as everyone's blowing smoke up his ass and telling him he's the best player in the world when he's nowhere near it, he knows that he's not. Do you know what I mean? He's still got that humble aura about him where he's still trying to learn. He understands that he's a limited player and he understands what his game is.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that is why he will have a great career. That's why he will have a great career.
I've got no doubts he will have a great career. I don't even think, I was talking to one of my friends yesterday. I said, I don't think he'll ever come to the Premier League. You know, I think he'll stay at Real Madrid for as long as possible. And if he comes to the Prem, it's probably for a payday.
Yeah, little payday farewell thing. And even that, he doesn't really need to do that, if we're being honest.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my days, what a goal from Oscar Bob, bro.
Hey, they're too, bruv. Like, bro, like the Bellingham thing it's an interesting one, because it's like he's a player that when I watch him, there's nothing about him that he doesn't move me. However, I know what his strengths are in it. Like he makes good runs in the right areas, and he's a very powerful runner, bro. Like he gets from A to B very quickly, and he gets into the box. And when he does get into the box, he's composed in there as well.
Very,
you know, like that. He's very composed in there. Do you know what I mean? First touch is a bit heavy. Do you know what I mean? He's probably not the best on the eye in terms of like short passing and playing in traffic and stuff like that. But bro, he reminds me a bit of Lampard, but with more athleticism. More like if he had Gerrard's athleticism and Lampard's skill set. Do you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what it is, because Lampard wasn't like the best player to watch on the ball, but he was good enough. Do you know what I mean? Struck the ball well. Yeah. But like he's more that mold. So when people are comparing him to Zidane, it's very disingenuous, because he's nothing like Zizou. They don't play anything alike. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have the intricacies like Musiala's feet. Like, bro, if he had Musiala's feet, then bro, Jude Bellingham, like you're looking at the best player in the world, but he's never gonna have that.
You know what I mean? Musiala in tight spaces, bro. Yeah. Even when you do try and get the ball off him, he'll somehow get it back and then do a drag back round his feet. And then, he's quick feet, man. Very, very intelligent baller, man. Proper enjoy.
But he's good, man. But these are players. These are players that know who they are, what they are, and they're playing to their skill set very, very well. And I think we've got a lot of Manchester United players that believe they're a lot better than they are, which doesn't help the team.
It doesn't.
It doesn't help the team, because the likes of the Harry Maguires, like I was saying when I was watching the game, Harry Maguire tries so hard to prove that he's a ball-playing centre-back. If he can take 2 touches, he'll take 5 anyway.
Yeah.
He'll take 5 anyway, because he wants to take the touch and then another touch and then get the head up and then take another touch and then play the diagonal. And by the time he played the diagonal, the player receiving the ball's got 2 players on him because you took so long. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all he does. 5 touches out the feet, then the diagonal into the left channel, and then the player gets tackled. If the ball even gets there, bro, he's a joke.
And there's a difference between what he does and what Lisandro does, which I think is more effective. Lisandro might take a few touches on the ball,
but he brings it forward.
That one pass he's going to play is going to cut through that whole midfield, opens up a whole lot of space for all of our forwards, and then we can create chances. Or they can do whatever they want. Maguire always wants to do the diagonal, and them diagonals are not the straight quick ones.
They're floaters.
The diagonals are the long ones that take bare long to travel, and then by the time you control the ball, you've got like 2-3 men on you. And
they're floaters.
And all of the opposition's defense, they already in place to defend. So I'm not trying to have that.
Yeah, bro. Because the thing is with the difference between Lisandro and Maguire is when Lisandro hits the pass, he fizzes it into players.
There you go.
In between
that's
the
the
lines.
word I was looking for. Yeah.
Like, bro, Harry Maguire's floating it. And then on top of that, when Lisandro takes touches, he takes touches forward. He progresses the ball into the midfield. Maguire takes touches to the side. Because he don't want to drive forward because he doesn't have the composure to go past the player if he needs to. Lisandro can take a player run. He can drop a shoulder, or he can put his body in between the man and the ball and hold it and then roll and go back. Like, he trusts himself. Maguire don't trust himself, bro. That's why he just wants to get rid of it.
That's absolutely spot on, bro. That's exactly what Lisandro does, and that's what I like about him so much. Is he always thinks forward. Do you know what I mean? He always thinks forward, and man, Maguire always does the little side thing because he needs space for him to hit it with his right, innit? Because he can't do it with his left. So,
he can't. Yeah. Nah, bro, it's just that Man United, too many. Luke Shaw's the same. Like, it's like, bro, he's so overrated. It's unbelievable. Like, when I go through
I've been telling people he's been in, just the fact alone that he's been here for nearly 10 years. We should get rid of him because we need new faces. We need new people to come and play in that position. For 10 years, like, he's been part of a trophy-winning squad once, and that was the Carabao Cup last year. When we won the Europa League, he was injured. When we won the FA Cup, he was injured. When we won the Community Shield, he was injured, even though I don't really count that as a trophy. He has not been part of a trophy-winning squad apart from last season, and even then, he was injured for large parts of the season, bro. So, and yesterday again, that just proves my point. Like, he can't stay fit, bro. Apparently, it's another hamstring tear. Forget it, bro. Forget it.
Always. And the thing is, like, the reason why I mentioned these guys' attitudes is because if a lot of these Man United players showed a bit more humility and understood, the level that they were at, we could get more out of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Because just changing your mentality in life, people be surprised, like, how much of a difference it makes.